com. Okay. All right, we got one person watching. Welcome. Unless it's like me that's watching. I don't know how that operates, but yeah, sorry. You're just gonna watch me like be awkward and try to figure stuff out. It's my first go around on here, so all right, we'll share the link on Facebook. See if all right. I'm gonna share this on Twitter and YouTube, and then I guess we'll just start talking. Sorry, I meant Instagram. Also, I can like hear myself. There's like a little delay with the live, and sometimes like I can hear myself talk while I'm in the middle of talking. So something I'm gonna have to figure out here. Okay, cool. We got 3 people watching. I guess we'll start talking wrestling at 7:30 because I said that's when we were going to start talking about things. But I guess people watching right now, we're just going to just talk about the duels from last night. I'm literally just going to be scrolling on Track Wrestling and talking about that. So talking about duel results. And then I'm going to be looking at tournaments as well, just kind of going over the teams at every tournament, maybe talk about potential good matches. I know there's a couple of stacked tournaments tomorrow already. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped. Also, I hate to go like full Zoom meeting here, but I muted my YouTube on here. And can people like still hear me? If people can't hear me, then I guess if you can hear me, like give a thumbs up or say something in the comments. Oh yeah, the Baraboo Sock duel. We'll be getting to the I'm gonna be literally just running right down the line of every single duel. Obviously, I'll be talking about some more than others, but yeah, just right away, Baraboo 42, Sock 36. That definitely caught my eye. I think one thing that caught my attention right away with that. Oh, let's see. I was right on it. But a lot of forfeits. I know it's very early in the season, but more forfeits than we've seen in previous Baraboo Sock duels. It looked like Talon Pitchler and Colton Usselman had a pretty good match. Pitchler won 3-1. Probably ended up being the swing match from that duel. Another decision here. Braylon Owen and Grant Sorg. Owen from Baraboo won 9-5. You're going to notice that if we keep doing this every week, just at the start of the season, there's just a lot of pins that go on and how teams figure that stuff out. Thank you, Steve. Thanks for letting me know that you guys can hear me. But yeah, it's a lot of high scoring duels right away. And that's just kind of the nature of the sport. We're very early in the season, might be some very fresh guys, obviously, given the circumstances over the last couple of years. It just naturally hasn't been as much wrestling. We got to see a lot more this summer, which was awesome. But yeah, just lots of high scores. That's always one of my first observations when we look at the first week here. And then, yeah, guys, I'm going to be on Track Wrestling as well. I think I can split my screen here to where I can look at comments and also just kind of peruse Track Wrestling. Also, thanks for bearing with me, everybody. All right, Hudson and Menominee. Also, I will give the disclaimer. Obviously, you're only as good as. Oh, okay, there we go. Control F. It does wonders, people. Press Control F. Type in what word you want to find on the page. Yeah, Hudson 66, Menominee 10. I mean, Hudson's going to be a good team this year. I think Steve and I both had them as our team sectional qualifiers, or I had Hudson, Steve had River Falls, something of the sort. That gives me a really good reminder. I'm going to pull up our regional and sectional champion picks as well here, just so we can kind of talk about that. While I'm pulling that up, just a couple of other results here I'm seeing on page 2. Great job, coaches, by the way, getting dual results and almost 2 full pages of dual results from last night. And I was texting some guys yesterday. It just made me so happy to see all these results again. Last year, I'm glad we got wrestling, but going on Track Wrestling on a Thursday or Friday and just looking at all of these duels is one of my favorite pastimes of the winter and probably just of all time. So Yeah, and obviously the coaches have to put this in. I know, like the coach at Holman, they put it in right after the duel, but it's good to see this stuff getting put in there right away. And I definitely have noticed an improvement in that avenue over the last couple of years. All right, I'm still pulling. I'm the worst multitasker ever. Regional sectional picks. Yeah, that's what I am looking for. Okay, I saw another comment. Walkie Hamilton, West Alice Central. Yeah, Central put up a 66-12 win over the Hamilton Autobahn Co-op. Just let me count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there were 7 forfeits, and there was one double forfeit in there. Steve and I did both pick West Alice Central as our regional champions. I believe that was in that's in sectional G. And I think that was one of the things we kind of talked about on that podcast, was that numbers were probably going to be an issue for that regional. Obviously, I think at the start of the year, we're going to see a lot more forfeits, a lot more empty spots. But yeah, hopefully those lineups start to fill out a little more. I guess. So we're going to start. And like I said, guys, if you have specific duels that you want me to look at, want me to talk about more in depth, I can definitely go take a look at those. And just keep in mind, like there's over 100 duels put into the system already. So if I don't know everything about every team, that's probably why. I view Steve and I as kind of like, we know a little bit about every team, but we don't know a lot. We know a lot about some teams, but it just kind of comes with the territory when you're trying to cover everybody, that, you know, you can't be an expert on all 330 teams in the state. One of my favorite duels to start the year. So we're going back to Tuesday. Might as well. I got time. It's Friday night. Mineral Point, River Valley, always a great duel to start the year. Point, the 61-15 victory over Valley. Point was one of those teams this year. There were some question marks. We know they're always going to bring a good team, but they did lose 6 or 7 really good seniors last year. Bo Hansen, who was a state place winner last year, he beat Zach Earns of River Valley 12-4 to start out the duel. Looked like there was only 2 forfeits in this one. River Valley was kind of struggling with numbers for a little bit, but glad to see their, you got 12 starters. That's a good way. When do state rankings come out? The first rankings are going to come out next week, and I'm guessing it's going to come out on Monday or Tuesday. So that'll be the D1, D2, D3 individual rankings, and also the first set of team rankings as well. Cambridge and Deerfield, I think it was the first result put in. Steve posted it on Instagram. First result put in on track wrestling for the season. Cambridge won 54-18 in that one. Winona Grove, McFarland. Okay, that duel definitely didn't end up 0-0. Kiel 42, Two Rivers 30. Just looking down the line, looks like there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total forfeits. I think it's Two Rivers that kind of going to be struggling with numbers a bit this year, but they're never going to be lacking in star power. They're always going to have someone that makes some type of move at state. This was a great start to the season for Fenimore. So I'm just moving up the list right now. Fenimore won 50-13 over Riverdale. And I just want to make sure they have the JV results in here posted as well as dual results. But yeah, no, this was the varsity results. We did talk. Riverdale's just always kind of a model of consistency, but Fenimore has just been on a tear these last 5 years. and they've just built up a really good program, starting off with a 50-13 win over Riverdale. That's awesome. That's a great start for them. I think Steve had them. I'll check my spreadsheet here, but I had Fenimore losing to Iowa Grant Highland in the regional, but we know that's going to be a good match. Steve has Fenimore making it to the sectional final. And it looks like right now they're doing pretty well with his prediction. All right, let's see what Brody has to say. Waukesha North and Wisconsin Lutheran. Is that a duel that already happened, or is it upcoming? Let me try to look it up here real quick. All right, yeah. North 63, Wisconsin Lutheran 9. I think this was one of those results that was a little shocking to me right away. Wisconsin Lutheran, another one of those teams that they're a model of consistency. And North comes in, beats them 63-9. That's a great start to the season for them. I really like all the Waukesha teams this year, to be honest. And then so we have West Allis Central versus Lutheran. Brody, do you want to put in the comments when the West Allis Central and Wisconsin Lutheran duel is going to be? Antonio Palladino, love to see you on here. Happy holidays to you as well. Let me check out the Burlington result here real quick. So Burlington 46, Wilmot 30. Looked like Burlington starting off the season with the full team. Love to see it. Only 3 forfeits in this one. Austin Scruns, another Scruns from Burlington. I forgot what grade Austin's in, but looked like he got a win at 9-1. Good 8-5 match between Joel Sullivan and Austin Reisman. Sullivan of Wilmot picked up the 8-5 victory in that. And then good match to end the duel at 132. The duel result was already in hand, but Mason Gauger of Wilmot and Ty Kiesler of Burlington had a good 8-6 match to finish off the duel. Braydog. Yeah, that was okay. So I really like the McGuanago versus Waukesha South duel result. Let me check out the spreadsheet quick. I just want to make sure I have the right team pegged here. But I picked Waukesha South to win Sectional G. Obviously, our picks aren't the gospel. But just to kind of show how how good teams can be. You know, you have Waukesha South in the conversation for winning a regional sectional title. McGuanago also in that same conversation. They do have to beat Milton in the regional, which is really tough, but they're also, they'd have to go against Stone in the team sectional anyways. I picked McGuanago and Waukesha South to make state. McGuanago wins 73-4 over South. And man, they just have a well-oiled machine down there right now. I know they had a couple of tough team state losses to Stoughton last year, just given the design. They ended up not making it out of the sectional. But McGuanago is truly a reload team right now. They aren't rebuilding. They're looking to compete every year. And you just look down this lineup. It's just a lot of recognizable names. Dane Crimplebine. Is he, if anyone knows McGuanago wrestling, is he related to the older Crimplebine? You have Nick Needham. I've heard his name quite a few times, kind of a younger talent. Jimmy Wollenberg of Waukesha South did pick up the 18-4 major decision over Blake Roberts. That was South's lone win in that duel. But man, this is it's definitely a murderer's row right here from 32 to 60. You have Brady Wiersbicki, Jacob Wazinski, Cody Gable, Austin Schulis, Zach Elizuski. I mean, they finished the duel off with 5 pins. That's definitely putting a statement against I would say it's a good Waukesha South team for sure. All right, Brody. So West Allis Central versus Wisconsin Lutheran on January 19th, 2022. That's good to know. Thank you for that. That's the one thing about track. I wish it would show like upcoming duels as well. Because I'm going to be honest, I looked at results last night. I looked at results right when I got back from work. But otherwise, I'm I'm kind of slinging from the hip right now, using the knowledge that I got from when we were researching for the season podcasts. And yeah, so this is a lot to look at. Honestly, like I'm literally just looking at duel results and talking about them. This is my favorite thing to do. Thanks everyone for joining us. If you're just hopping in, we're just talking duel results. If you have stuff that you want me to talk about, then put it in here. I'm trying to keep track of the comments and look at predictions from this year, and look at results. There's a lot of moving pieces right now. So Bray Dog, younger brother of Ryan Crimplebine, great kids and great family. I always love to hear that. That's probably my favorite compliment that, you can give any wrestler or any wrestling family. McGuanago and Milton tomorrow at the East Troy duels. Yeah, I agree. That's going to be a really fun duel. Obviously, they're taking each other on at regionals, but to see them go against each other in a dual format, especially, it's two good programs. These coaches are going to take plenty of notes on these guys that they're going to be wrestling, and you're going to see these wrestlers adjust as the season goes on. And obviously, with McGuanago and Milton, you have to assume that most of all of these guys are going to improve vastly over the course of the year. So McGuanago and Milton definitely going to be a good preview for what the regional chase could look like. All right, we'll look at some more results here. West Salem Bangor and lacrosse wrestling. West Salem won 45-35. Check out some interesting results from that one. So Braden Glasspool got a pin in that one. Isaac Corbin, I got to watch him wrestle at the Challenge Series a couple of years ago. One of those guys, I think he was just behind a couple of good varsity guys, but you knew he was going to be a good wrestler. He's a talented kid. He works hard on the mat. I think he wrestled a couple of our Holman guys. 145, Evan Wolf got a win. Dylan Ellison from lacrosse. That's a dude to keep an eye on this year. Sam Veenstra from lacrosse. Sam Veenstra, just a very good athlete in general. We'll see if there's any decisions here. Landon Bueller of West Salem over Justice Mueller, 6-2 decision. All right, so Baraboo 42-36, New Richmond 57, Eau Claire Memorial 15, Chilton Hilbert 48, Velders 36. I'll look at this duel real quick. Yeah, I think Steve and I for our regional picks. Also, Steve's at the Wanakee Fort Atkinson duel tonight. I think he's doing a live stream of his own right now. I'm going to text him real quick, see how that's going. I'll let you guys know when I get a response on that. All right, DC Everest 70, Wausau East 12. Everest last year had a great team. I know they lost a lot of good seniors, but it'll be interesting to see what they bring back. Just in a tough regional with Marshfield and Wausau. Speaking of Marshfield, though, Wisconsin Rapids Lincoln 45, Marshfield 28. That Rapids has a good team, and the scary part is they're pretty young still too. Just looking at some close results. Cody Wicks of Marshfield beat Tanner Bars 2-0 to start the duel off. And then Rapids just rattled off 7 straight wins, 6 of those being pins. And against Marshfield, that's one of those deals where outside of their murderer's row that they have, you need to score points. And it looked like Rapids did exactly that. Carter Freeman of Rapids beat Caleb Denny 5-0. Keegan Cliver beat Mason Tritz. I think Tritz is either a freshman or a sophomore. He beat him 13-1. Hoyt Blaskowski beat Josh Black, pinned him in a minute 17. Brett Franklin and Bennett Weidman had a good match, 4-0. There's my boy Brett Back getting the pin, first match of the year. I don't know if we have any Marshfield fans on here. I heard they had a pretty good freshman coming in. Someone want to give me the name of him just so I know we got someone. Oh, top 138 pounders. All right, let me check my notes here real quick. Also, I always do that clicking sound with my mouth when I'm like focused in on something. I'll try to stop that. That's probably got to be very, very annoying. So we'll just we'll start at D1, and I think there's so many changes that can be done. I could be horribly wrong on who's actually going to be at 138, but Corbin Ramos, Gabe Ramos. So Corbin Ramos out of Kenosha Bradford. Obviously, he's going to be pretty solid. Gabe Ramos, they both qualified at 138 last year. I'm sure they're not starting at that weight class, but yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to look at other top returning 132 pounders. All right. You got Rivera from Stoughton, Parker Cradville from Holman, Hoyt Blaskowski, Marshfield, Cody Gable, McGuanago. They were all at 132 last year. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's so hard. We don't know what weight people are at right now. So if you're going to ask about a weight, I'll probably look at that current weight and then 2 weight classes below it just to maybe give you an idea of where people might be. Looks like there's been a lot of big growth spurts right now. I know Connor O'Donnell from Milwaukee South, he wrestled 113 last year. I think he wrestled 152. He wrestled 152 in his first match, or he's going to be wrestling 152. All right. Right now with Fort and Wanakee, 4 matches to go. Like I told you guys, if you're just hopping on, I texted Steve and Fort Atkinson dueling Wanakee right now. Wanakee kind of a perpetual regional champion. Fort's winning 30-21, 4 matches to go. I'm going to ask him what weight classes are left here. All right, so 200, so 38. I'll roll through Division 2, Division 3, potential 138 pounders. And then I'll look at the 220 pounders. Don't worry, Brody, not forgetting about you over there. I have so many tabs open right now. It's ridiculous. I can't believe I'm I'm keeping track of all this. All right, so guys that either placed or qualified at state at 138 last year in Division 2, obviously they're going to start out a little heavier. They might not make it back down to 138, but Tanner Holopka, Abbotsford, Brady Shue, Monroe, Ezekiel Sipple, Keel. Holopka placed 5th, Shue placed 6th. Sipple was a qualifier. At 132, some guys coming back that we might see land at 138 at some point, or like maybe even 145. Brody Hart of Winneconne, state champ. Nathan Vandehei, sorry, Freedom people. I'm so bad at pronouncing Freedom names. I've butchered it every time I've done the D2 Sectional B podcast. Joel Lund of Kiel and Maddox Sejka of Prairie du Chien, all returning either state qualifiers or place winners. 126. Looks like we kind of got some weight classes moved around here. Looks like Rhett Koenig, if he had a little growth spurt, looks like he might actually be starting at 126. It's just so I'm not giving great answers for these guys, but like it's like I said, until we get more results, more stuff in, there's over 300 teams to keep track of. But I figure throwing names out, if it at least helps you keep an eye on people at tournaments and whatnot. And also feel free to correct me in the comments too. I think one thing I love about the Wisconsin wrestling community is it's a big community, and we have a lot of people that know quite a bit about wrestling. So feel free to share your knowledge or input, any opinions you may have in the comments as well. 138. If I had to list one guy from D3 right off the bat, Tanner Gerber, if he ends up there, he was the state champ at 126 last year. Taryn Riley of Mineral Points at 138 as well. I believe he started there against River Valley. They were the champs and runner-ups. Obviously, Gerber's going for his 4th this year, so you could probably maybe argue that he's the best, the best 138 pounder if that's the case. I don't know what Rivera's at. I would like to see those two wrestle. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head like how the match would go. I think I'd maybe need to give the edge to Rivera, but Gerber, he's a tough wrestler in his own right. All right, Brody, we're going to check out the 220 pounders for you. So the thing I like about the upper weights is they always don't change as much, especially just because there's more weight in between each weight class. So you see a lot of guys kind of stay where they're at. Just wheeling back around here. Division III, Gavin Teagles of Cadott. That's a name that's going to live rent free in my head, not just because it's, Teague and Teagles, but state champ last year. Steve and I, neither of us picked him, so he's a part of what we like to call the foot and mouth club. But it's kind of fun when you have these guys that kind of prove us wrong on our predictions. That's what makes the sport exciting. David Gauderman of Wittenberg Burnham Wood coming back. Louis White of Dodgeland, a guy to keep an eye on. Jordan Arndt of Random Lake. State qualifier at heavyweight. Looks like he is at 220 right now. Division II here. I mean, Division II, I think probably with every division, the conversation at 220 should just start with Coy Hopke of Amory. Just an absolute tank. He had a great offseason as well. He's only a sophomore, but he's not built like it. He does not wrestle like it by any means. You have Garrett Kilgus of Brilliant, Carter Grew of Abbotsford Colby, Hunter Isaacson of the Dells, Jackson Funderburg of Bigfoot Williams Bay. With 220 heavyweight, it's one of those deals. It's, obviously it's bigger guys, so they're usually juniors or seniors. So at the start of the year, there's not as many names necessarily that hop off the page, but you start to see some guys really start to separate from the pack or make a name for themselves. Especially, once we get done with these first couple of weeks of tournaments, we're going to have a lot clearer idea of at least where people are at relative to their competitors. Division I did lose a lot of people from 220 last year. Caleb Letson from Neenah, I think he's the only returning state qualifier. He's a senior this year. You got to feel good about that if you're the only returning state qualifier. Kind of feels nice to have an open field in front of you, but obviously still got to put the work in as well. Antonio, Sam Parr will be at 220 for Oak Creek. I know Sam, he had a good postseason last year. Antonio, do you want to put in the chat? I forgot if he made state, placed at state. I think he was a part of that crew where he qualified with Ben, but feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. All right, we'll keep looking at a couple more dual results here, and then I'll check out the Saturday tournaments. Richland Center and Hillsborough with the tie, so it doesn't show. Let's see. Oh, yeah, okay, it shows the tiebreaker. So Richland Center won the duel. They gave up one less forfeit than Hillsborough, but always fun to see a tie. Always a little exciting to see what the tiebreaker criteria is. There was another one. I want to check out that Mauston Toma match. I did look at it prior, but all right. Yeah. Toma 42, Mauston 34. This one, Mauston has a new head coach this year, Tommy Miller. He was a head coach prior. He took some time away. He has his own grocery store in Linden Station that he runs with his family. He's a great guy, but if there's one thing I know about him, he loves wrestling and, staying away from the sport. He was helping at the youth level for quite a bit, but it's good to see him back in the high school program, replaced Colin Delata. And the one thing I love about Mauston is their wrestling tradition. They're always going to have people who love wrestling in Mauston, and, Tommy's kind of, exhibit A for that. So, first duel back for Tommy Mauston, the Mauston Tennessee co-op, I should say. They wrestled Toma for the old milk jug, lost 42-34. I think the impressive thing is, though, Mauston gave up 4 forfeits. Toma gave up 1. So Toma had an 18-point advantage in forfeits, ended up winning by 8. So you could argue that Mauston out-wrestled them. So Mauston, if they could find a way to fill their lineup, it'd be interesting to see how they do at regionals. So he did place 4th at 195. Gavin Brager, 195 D3. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do, guys, I'm just going to talk about top returners from that weight class. At least, guys that qualified for state. Once we get into like the sectional level, and that's a lot more people that we need to filter through. And I think I'm just going to pull up state results too. I just love looking at brackets. 195 Division 3. All right, so just right away looking at state qualifiers, Ryan Mccartney, part of a pretty good Lancaster team. He ended up placing 6th last year, so he's going to be someone to keep an eye on. Dylan Larson from Shiocton, 12-6 as a junior, ended up qualifying for state as well. I'd have to say maybe the favorite coming in. I don't want to put like the target on his back, but Rafe Smart from Stratford, man, 14-2 as a junior. He ended up being a runner-up, lost to Tret Joels in the finals, but Rafe, I talked about him on the podcast a little bit, but I saw his first ever match. He was actually a replacement for someone at Bi-State, and he wrestled a Holman kid that was ranked top 3 in the state, put up a good match against him, ended up getting pinned in the second, but that's just a guy, you can tell he works hard, and it just seems like he has an endless motor. So yeah, that's what. All right, Mike BPD. Top D1 sophomores. All right, Mike. So let me see what I can get from my notes here. All right. There's just going to be a second of silence. I'm going to scroll through this sophomores list. And when you say top, when I'm like listing these people off, I'm not going to say like, this isn't like a rankings or anything. It's just going to be guys that I think are going to be really solid. So right away, and I'm going kind of weight by weight here. Easton Cooper, it was a guy picked to be my state champ last year. He placed 4th at 113 and just a really impressive freshman wrestler. You could just tell technique wise, it just seems like he's kind of years ahead of where he should be at this age. Ended up placing 4th in that really good bracket. Cole Sarbacher from Stone and Connor O'Donnell from South. Just all 3 of these guys at 113, these sophomores, they're pretty solid. And obviously they're not starting at 113. They're going to be up a weight class. As I brought up, I think O'Donnell's starting 52. So he might win the early season award for biggest growth spurt in the off season. Again, going weight by weight. Oh yeah, this conversation had to happen with him. Brett Back of Rapids, one of my favorite guys to watch wrestle. I got to watch him wrestle at regional, sectionals, and state. Another dude who had a good off season, and he's one of those guys. I like to say it's like must watch material when you see him on the mat. He really loves his throws, loves working his upper body stuff. Very successful Greco wrestler. Back would probably be someone. I said I wouldn't do rankings, but I would say maybe probably top 3 for all sophomores in Division 1, maybe just in general. At 152, so you have Charlie and Millard of Homestead and Aiden Sinclair of Milton. A couple of those younger guys who were at higher weight classes. Millard was at 138 last year. It is confirmed that he started the season at 152. Sinclair. We got to talk about Sinclair with Milton coach Pat Yauk on our D1 sectional E preview, and not just a hard worker, but he's like a great kid as well. And we kind of talked about state last year. Sinclair lost his first match, wrestled all the way back, and ended up winning a rematch of his first round loss in the finals. And that's very mature wrestling. That's a very mature mindset to have. So Sinclair's another guy. He had another good off season too. Scrolling down, probably won't see as many. Yeah, how can I forget the Super Mirasola brothers? Connor at 170, the state champ last year. He had to go through a tough bracket to get there. And then, of course, you have Cole, who at 182 ended up placing 5th. I think at Fargo this year, they ended up meeting in the 3rd place match. I forgot if it was freestyle or Greco. I don't think they wrestled it, but pretty cool accomplishment if you're twins to make it that far. So That's what, yeah, all the guys I just listed there, that was kind of that's who I'd consider the top D1 sophomores. I know it's not a definitive list or anything like that, but yeah. Does anyone, I know we does anyone have any other like duel results they want me to talk about or anything like that? Otherwise, we can start looking at tournaments as well. Also, yeah, we got 7 people watching. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you hopping on. I know it's just me like roving track wrestling, but I appreciate it. Yeah, let's do some tournament talk here. Let me pull that up real quick. And if you guys have any duels that you still want to talk about, then I can always hop back on that page too. But yeah, we'll get into some Saturday talk. We're about 30 minutes into this. I mean, I could probably do this for 2 hours. I'm not opposed to that at all. But yeah, we'll just kind of transition over. Mike, I hope that answered your question well enough. I'm sure if you asked a lot of people, it'd probably be a lot of the same answers, but I hope I gave you like some sort of guide to look at or help you out with. All right, so let's check out track, search events, common dates this week, state held in Wisconsin. All right, we'll just start off kind of in my home area, not really, it's like an hour away, but North Crawford, Seneca quad. Got DeSoto there, MFL Marmac of Iowa, North Crawford, Seneca, and Starmont of Iowa. Soto, 16 guys on their roster. That's cool to see. It'll be cool to see if they can field a full 14 come regionals time this year. Cumberland Island City Duels. I'm excited for this one. I think I'm really excited for the St. Croix Central Boyceville match. I know we got a couple of results already from St. Croix Central. All right, at least I think it was. Lord, might need to search by teams here. But yeah, Boyceville, I think looking at mine and Steve's predictions. Where am I trying? I am all over. You guys are kind of watching my brain in action right now. It's moving at like 1,000,000 miles per hour, and I'm trying to look at like 4 different pages. But we're still making do. I think Boyceville wins that duel, but yeah, St. Croix Central, 28 guys on their roster going into tomorrow. Again, I just like to see numbers for sure. All right, Oconto invite. That's from last year. Wait, did that take place tonight already? 12/3/21. All right, cool. So we get to look at some team results. Wow, that was not a smart move by me. All right, yeah, let's go. All right, yeah, so look at St. Croix Central. St. Croix Central versus Boyceville. Oh, wow. All right, yeah, so already eating my words here. So I thought Boyceville was going to win. St. Croix Central picked up a 57-24 victory over Boyceville. That's a good start to their season. Can't complain about that. Tom Bruner. All right, just had an Instagram message here. Yes. We're gonna be talking about, yeah. Message me talking about the Tom McGarvey early bird scramble in Watertown. We'll definitely get down there. I mean, we already have tournament results on here, so we might as well, we'll go through those real quick. Oconto invite, just looking at team scores right off the bat. Sheboygan South winning this with 190. Oshkosh West with 159. I think Oshkosh West was one of my dark horse picks coming into the year. I do believe I picked them twin regionals. And oh no, was that? Yeah, Steve and I were both on the fence of picking Oshkosh West to win their regional, and we ended up going, I went with West Bend West, he went with West Bend East. What else do we have here in 2021? All right, now we're getting into tournaments tomorrow. So now I won't have like perfect results to look on here, but actually, before we do that, I just want to check out that North Crawford Seneca quad. I just want to see DeSoto's rocking a full team. All right. Yeah. So DeSoto's 16 guys on the roster. Looks like there's still some holes in there. But Aiden Brzezinski starting the season off right, 9-4 victory. Runner up at state last year. Brzezinski, he's gonna be a tough dude. Gonna be a tough dude to beat this year for sure. All right, I'll jump back to the comments. Talon Pickler. All right, Joe. Talon Pickler, D1 sophomore. Joe, it's funny you said, we were just talking about in the dual results. I did bring up Talon. You want to put in the comments what team he's on quick? My memory's already failing me here. All right, from Baraboo. That's right. Yeah, Joe. So we did. I'll jump back to this Baraboo soft duel for you real quick. Like I said, Baraboo won that one. I think it was 42-36, but Pickler, I think he started off the duel with a win, actually. Yeah, beating Colton Usselman 3-1. No, Joe, I agree with you. That's I didn't list them right away when I brought up top D1 sophomores. I think the list I brought up was very, very like tough wrestlers. But Pickler, might put his name in that conversation with the win over Usselman and that duel yet from yesterday. Is Baraboo wrestling at any tournaments this weekend? Do you know, Joe? All right, I'm going to pull up these tournaments for tomorrow. So starting in Johnson Creek. Also, Steve and I had this conversation on our podcast every time we talk about Johnson Creek. Does anyone call it Johnson Creek right now that's listening? I just kind of want to get opinions on that. I do say Johnson Creek. But here, just looking at the teams here. So Beloit Turner, Broadhead Judah, Cambridge, Cuba City, Eau Claire North will be at the Creek Classic. That's going to be quite a far drive for head coach Jake Revin all the way down there tomorrow from Eau Claire. You got Jefferson, Johnson Creek, Lake Mills, Marquezan. Marquezan's one of those teams we both picked to win their regional this year. Marshall, Menasha, Milwaukee, Bradley Tech, and Waterloo. Waterloo will give the shout out. Head coach Thurston Schuster. I actually I helped out with the Waterloo fundraiser. I bought these like fantasy football tickets. This might give you guys like some fundraising ideas, but you buy these fantasy football tickets and you get 3 teams a week. And if your team scores like the most amount of points out of all these tickets that are sold, you get like a cash prize too. And even if you don't win, you're just donating to a good cause as well. But maybe I'll ask Thurston more about that if anyone is interested in that kind of fundraising idea for their school. So that was just going through Johnson Creek real quick. All right, going to Kimberly here, the Papermaker invite. This is going to be a tough one. Amory was the first team that I picked to be team state champs in our preview series. They're going to be at the Papermaker invite. You have Appleton North, Ashwaubenon, Berlin. Coleman's going to be there. Dodgeland, Elkhart, Lakeland, Beulah, Howard's Grove. Freedom's going to be there. They have a solid team. Kimberly, I know they had a good duel last night. And then Sun Prairie, they're bringing 13 guys as well. Man, that's going to be there's going to be some good wrestling at that tournament for sure. Kramer Brown invite. Oh, sorry, I'm skipping over some. All right, let's check out these black shirt duels here real quick. I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself. Yeah, guys, I kind of like what Joe was going with here. I brought up that top sophomores list that I was talking about for D1 at least, or someone asked about it. If you think there's any names that I missed off the top of my head, or any names that you think are going to be, by the end of the season, they're going to be in that list for top sophomores, whether it be a certain division or just all throughout, bring them up. Let's give these guys some recognition. That's what we're doing this for, right? All right, so black shirt duels. Looks like it's a 6-teamer, so probably round robin style. Germantown, Martin Luther, Racine St. Cat's, Waukesha South, Whitnall Greendale, and Wilmot. You're going to see some solid wrestling there. Looks like mostly full teams, too. Always love to see that. Kramer Brown invite in Janesville. Oh, actually, we'll go to Black River Falls first here. Auburndale, Black River Falls, Bruce DeSoto, who is wrestling tonight. Melman GET. Oh, yeah. That's a duel that I didn't bring up. Cadott beat Melman GET 42-30 last night. And I think Cadott also gave up a couple of forfeits too. So Cadott, one of those teams that people are they're kind of in the conversation for team state champions this year. I think that's just the truth of the matter. And if you can beat GET while giving up any forfeits, that's a great start to the year. That's a great duel to start the year in general, just to be honest. Portage is going to be there. Sparta is going to be. This Black River Falls invite is huge. I feel like it always kind of goes under the radar, especially in the first week. I feel like people are still trying to get their bearings, and there's just so much wrestling going on right away. It's hard to take it all in. But yeah, so we got Sparta, Stanley Boyd. Stratford's going to be at Black River Falls. I don't know. I think Stratford, I don't know if they bring their JV to that or not, but I guess we will find out tomorrow. Also, guys, we're going to be recapping all of Saturday's action too. We're going to be recording our podcast Sunday night, releasing it Monday. Kind of give everyone an idea of where teams are at after the first week. Just give some tournament results, big match results. Speaking of big matches, we haven't got to the tournament yet, but I do know the Gunslinger invite from Slinger is going to be pretty solid. Ellsworth invite. I always love looking at the Ellsworth invite just because Ellsworth's one of those teams that they're a good team every year. It's good to see where their team's at. You get to see some Minnesota teams as well. I like when they get to bring in talent from different states. So Ellsworth, Regis, I know they're going to have a solid team this year. Cadott's going to be at the Ellsworth invite too. We just talked about them beating Melman GET. Prescott will be there, Spring Valley, Elmwood, and Northwestern as well. I think I picked Northwestern to win their regional this year. So a tournament like that got a few tough teams in it. That'll be a good gauge for them. Also, I don't know who's been hanging around this whole time. Looks like we have 10 people watching. If you've been watching this whole time, tell me what you maybe don't like about the format. We can always change it. This is our first go around. So yeah. If people are just hopping on, we started off the live stream talking about different duels. People brought up duels in the comments that we wanted to look a little more into. I was going to go through every single duel result, and then I think it just kind of hit that was not going to be the case. But no, I like the questions you guys are asking. It's good to get some conversation going, just to kind of get us hyped for the season, especially the first Saturday tomorrow too. All right, so we have wow, I just hit my podcast transition voice there hard with the all right in there. But the Gerald Sarge marking scramble, this will be the next tournament that we're looking at. We got Beaver Dam, Campbellsport, Columbus, Hamilton, Mayville, New Berlin, West Eisenhower, North Fondy, St. Mary's Springs, Oregon, Racine Case, Wanakee, who, oh yeah, I forgot to give updates on Wanakee. Wow, Wanakee ended up winning 36-33. Wait, that can't be. No, Ford ended up winning 36-33. So my co-host Steve Lurkwin, he's at the He's at the Palladino, or not, sorry, Tony, I just looked at your comment. I said the Palladino duel. Steve's he's at the Fort Wanakee match. Fort was winning 30-21 with 4 matches to go, just to kind of wrap up that duel. Looked like they won the next match 36-21. Wanakee picked up a pin 36-27 with 2 matches to go. Then it looked like it was with 1 match to go, it was 36-33 in Fort's favor. Oh, Steve, I need a score update here. So he said it was 36-33 with 1 match to go, and then he said 36-33 again. So I just don't think there would be a double forfeit in that duel necessarily. So yeah, I'll get Antonio. Thank you. You know, like, love you guys. Love talking to you when I was broadcasting at State last year. That was a good time. All right, Nick Crowley, did you talk about the Nicolay tournament tomorrow? I did not get to that, Nick, but we are running down the list right now. I can give you an idea of where they're at in the queue. I'm looking at the Gerald Sarge marking scramble right now. I think we kind of went through the teams there. So let's see. I'll let you know. Nicolay night scramble. Yeah, Nick, if I had to guess, I think we'll probably get to the Nicolay scramble probably in about like 5 to 10 minutes here. I just got to like run down this list here real quick. Otherwise, if I start jumping around, then I'm not going to get anywhere. So John Tim duels. I'll just go through the teams here. Bloomer, Colfax, Clear Lake, Glenwood City. Speaking of Glenwood City, we had Shane Strong on our D3 Sectional A podcast. Just a great guy. He has a great website for his team. Highly recommend checking out Glenwood City's like wrestling website. If you're feeling some type of inspiration, like maybe you want your team to have a website or whatever, that is a great starting point. River Falls is going to be at the John Tim duels, Somerset, Spooner Webster, and Triton, Minnesota. That is a cool name. All right, going down to the Kiel multi-duel. Kiel, I already forgot which team Kiel beat in their duel. I think I might be losing my voice already, but we have Denmark, Franklin, Kiel, Reedsville, Wauwatosa West, Xavier. Reedsville, man, I gotta live and die by Reedsville this year. I picked them to beat Random Lake in the team sectional, so tomorrow will be a really good gauge for where they're at. Okay, got the Lomira duels. Loving all these duels to start the year. We're gonna have a lot of good info. Nick, just to keep you updated, we got 1, 2, 3 more duels, and then we'll be talking about Nicolay here. So we got the Lomira duels next. All right, 6 teams here. So it looks like it's going to be that round robin format. Cedar Grove, Belgium, Chilton Hilbert, Lomira, Menominee Falls, Ripon, and West Allis. Cedar Grove, Belgium. That's I think Steve picked them to make it. Yeah, they picked them to face off against Random Lake in the team sectional finals. I know they had a really good team last year too. They did lose some good guys, but I think we both agreed for Cedar Grove, Belgium, this is the year where you kind of have the choice. All right, rebuild or reload. So yeah. Chilton Hilbert, always a team. Also, fun fact, when I was a senior at Moss, we wrestled Chilton Hilbert at state. So that's always going to be a team that just kind of sticks out to me. Lomira, there's going to be some good duels tomorrow. Menominee Falls is going to be in there. They're a perpetual regional contender in their regional. And you got Ripon and West Allis. All right. Luxembourg, Casco, Spartan duels. I'm pumped for this one. So Holman, get this. Holman was going to face Aquinas and Chatfield in a duel. And it was going to be, I think there was one other team. They were going to wrestle tonight, but Aquinas and Chatfield both made it to the state finals. Also, props to Aquinas for winning state in football. They were winless 5 seasons ago. Talk about a turnaround for a program. But I think state football went so late that Aquinas wrestlers and Chatfield wrestlers weren't even going to have the legal amount of practices to wrestle. So I think that they're moving that back because that Holman Aquinas duel is going to be good. But anyways, head coach Jason Luloff obviously wanted to wrestle the first Saturday of the year that he could, and ended up getting Holman into the Luxembourg Casco Spartan duels. And let's take a look at the teams here. Bayport, Holman, Luxembourg, Casco, Oshkosh West, Port Washington, Sheboygan Falls. Oshkosh West, we kind of, we talked about them a little bit earlier, had a tough duel, but, it's the first duel of the season. This will be a really good barometer for them. They are contenders in their regional. But I think this triad here, Bayport, Holman, and Casco, that's going to be fun to watch. And all eyes are going to be on Holman and Luxembourg Casco whenever that duel happens. I think if you had to say there was a championship duel, that might be the one for that. And again, could have a foot and mouth moment. Bayport people, if you guys end up getting the win. All right. Third Nicolay at Night Scramble. Here we are. I got you now, Nick. Nick, since you're Nick, are you still here? You still watching? Feel free to provide elaboration on this tournament as well. Like I said a little earlier, guys, like definitely chime in. Like if it's a tournament in your area or something and I'm talking about it and I kind of like brush over something, like definitely feel free to chime in about the tournament, go into more detail on it. I think we all want to know where the good wrestling's going to be at. All right, so here we go. Oh, so this is where, okay. Yeah, I think we're going to see some pretty good matches here. All right, we got Arrowhead. All right, Arrowhead, it says they're only bringing 7. Oh, I think Arrowhead might be going to Slinger tomorrow, but Brookfield East, you guys know, if you listen to the podcast, you know, I'm a big Beast guy. I'm just a big fan of the program that they've built, and they're kind of becoming more consistent with their success, and it'll be interesting to see if they can continue this little run that they've had the last couple of years. Elkhorn area, you know, they're always going to have good wrestling in Elkhorn. Janesville Craig, I know they had a couple of great teams 2-3 years ago. Last year, I think it's just a lot of graduation losses, but they can always bounce back. Kakana is going to be there too. It's looking like that's going to be pretty interesting. Kakana, one of those teams where, you know, they lost 7 really good starters, but you know, they have the depth, you know, they probably have good freshmen coming in. Oh, Antonio, Stone duel, Stone versus Oak Creek. How do you see this playing out? All right, Antonio, I will get to that. I'll jump to Stone right after this, but you guys got to remember to keep me on track too. Kenosha Christian Life, Kenosha Tremper, Milwaukee Ronald Reagan. Whenever I see their name, I'll shout out their girls team. They just have a lot of numbers. They have a great program. If you want to look to build a good girls team, talk to the coaches at Milwaukee Ronald Reagan. All right. Sheboygan North and Whitefish Bay. Yeah, no, Mr. Crowley, I definitely agree with you that Nicolay Night Scramble, there's going to be a lot of good wrestling tomorrow. Do you want to let me know? I don't know if I could find it on here. Oh, bracket types. So it looks like round robins and scrambles, which is a lot of wrestling. All right, Antonio, Stone versus Oak Creek. Let me, I just need a little buffer. Oh, there we are. The peeper duels. So we got Evansville, Madison, La Follette, Marshfield. We talked about they wrestled Rapids 45-28, or yeah, they lost to Rapids 45-28. Oak Creek and Stoughton. I guess the most educated answer I could give Antonio is Stoughton last year had a lot of hammers, but I think one thing about their lineup is their weak spots were just a little weaker than years prior. And it was kind of out of the norm for their team. I think it's probably just given the nature of the season too, but that's just my objective observation. I think Stoughton's depth is going to be a little better this year. Oak Creek, 44 guys. Props to you. That's awesome. I love to see that. Got 44 people on the team. I'm gonna cheat for a second here. I'm gonna look at both teams' rosters. Just I don't want to like give a totally like bad answer here. All right, so Stoughton wrestled to Force tonight. They won 66-12. So I can get a good idea of Stoughton's roster just from this. Dow, Gomez, looks like there was a couple of forfeits in this one. More forfeits than I thought there would be for Stoughton and DeForest. So, Antonio, you asked a really good question, man, because now after looking at the Stoughton duel, I'm going to be stumped. Obviously, right away, you look at the Stoughton lineup, and they have their hammers. They're going to get their bonus points, by the handful, pretty much. But if they're giving up a few forfeits tomorrow, I got to give it to Oak Creek and the fact that they're bringing 44 people. There's not going to be any holes there. I'm sure Stone will find a way to cover up their gaps. But if we kind of see the same issue as last year, where you might have a couple of guys in the lineup that are going to give up more points, man, I don't want to put a target on Oak Creek's back, but I could see Oak Creek winning a close one in this one. And I think it also goes on the basis too, we see Stone's best wrestling. We always see it at the end of the year as well. They're not a team that prides itself on winning in December or whatever, but like, it's one of those deals. I think Oak Creek's going to beat Stoughton. I'm going to say that, but, Marshfield and Evansville, there's going to be a lot of good duels. There's going to be a lot of good duels at the Peeper Duels tomorrow. I'm going to say, if we had to set a spread, Antonio, I'm going to say Oak Creek favored by 1.5. I'm going to go with that, and we'll see where it takes us. I might catch a lot of flack tomorrow if that ends up not being the result, but hey, you gotta put yourself out there sometimes. All right, we're going to hop back up here. Oh, the Stone duels were next anyway, so I wasn't even bouncing around. Reedsburg duels, if I had to guess, Reedsburg, Mawson, River Valley are usually there. Yeah, so La Crosse, Logan, Lancaster, looks like they have 11 guys on their roster. If they can end up getting a full team, they might be in that regional conversation race, and that always very tough D3, Sectional C, Regional 3. Lordy, lot of numbers in there. It's a lot of stuff going on, but continuing on, Monona Grove, McFarland, Palmyra Eagle, Reedsburg, 25 guys, just another team. They're always going to have a solid team at the very least. Riverdale, who kind of had that tough loss against Fenimore. Let's see. Yeah, so for people that were just hopping on, we did talk about Riverdale lost 50-13 against Fenimore. I think Riverdale might be in their team regional conversation, but Fenimore is a great team. So this tournament, good opportunity for Riverdale to bounce back against some solid teams as well. Westosha Central's going to be there, and the Dells is going to be there. So 10 team, I think they must do 2 groups of 5, wrestle around robin, and then based on where they placed, and they'll wrestle like whoever was first in this group wrestles whoever was first. Yeah, you don't need me to bore you with that. Royal Invite. This was always Mawson's first tournament, so this always holds kind of a special spot for me. Royal Invite is getting big, though. They used to just have 8-man brackets, just running down the teams. Adams Friendship, Allman Bancroft, Blair Taylor, Cashton, Hillsboro, Iowa Grant, Kickapoo Lafarge, Madison East, Mauston, Necedah. Wow, a lot of people. Oh. Was anyone able to get here from Instagram? I just had someone ask me what our channel is, and it looks like it might not have gone through. Also, Antonio, I hope that answer helped out a little bit. I try not to like beat around the bush, but I just want to make sure I'm giving like the most educated answer I can give. I don't like, I'm sure a lot of you see like Undisputed and Skip and Shannon and like those types of sports shows where they just straight up like they're talking to get a reaction. I'm not trying to talk to get a reaction necessarily. I want to like try to give my best opinion on stuff. But all right, so I had to respond to something on Instagram here. Also, I've been going for like an hour now. Thanks for the 7 guys. I don't know if anyone's like still listening. That was like been on since the start, but thanks for coming on. I appreciate the support. I know there's other things you could be doing on a Friday, but this is awesome. All right, continuing on with this Royal invite. There's like 20 teams here. Iowa Grant, I picked them to make it a team state. Boston Cedar is going to be there. Madison East, Montello, New Lisbon, Poinet, Richland Center, Royal, Spencer, Columbus Catholic, West Salem, Bangor, and Westfield. All right. Might be did I skip past the Slinger? I skipped past the Gunslinger invite. All right, so the teams at the Gunslinger, Arrowhead. So yeah, Arrowhead's bringing their varsity to the Gunslinger. Burlington's going to be there. De Pere's going to be there. DeForest, Fort Atkinson, Homestead, Kewaskum, Muskego, Neenah, Neelsville. Oh my gosh, that's this is going to be a tough one. Oconomowoc, Oshkosh North, Slinger, Waukesha West, West Bend East, Wisconsin Lutheran. Sorry, everyone. I just want to make sure someone's trying to get in, and I just want to make sure that we're getting in here. Maybe I'll give a better explanation for this. Also, for the first go around, I would say this isn't like going bad. Like if you dislike me or the way I talk or something, then like I can understand why you might not like this. But I'm just talking wrestling. Like I'm personally loving this. But there was one match from the Gunslinger, and like I said, I don't want to like guess on weights or anything. Could potentially at 152 have a Messenbrink versus Charlie Millard of Homestead match. Just from the people I was talking to, Messenbrink is obviously he's number one at his weight class. Well, Grayson Clark did wrestle 152 as well, but Messenbrink's great 152 pounder, 2-time state champ. But Charlie Millard had a good freshman campaign last year, and if those two end up facing off against each other at a certain weight, then man, that's got to be the match of the day. But no, just a lot of good teams at the Gunslinger too. It's just, that's going to be a great tournament. It's one of those, I wish I could like see brackets the night before, because I would be up until 3 a.m. talking about this stuff. But let's see. Oh, this might be getting to the end here. So Sergeant Nick Mueller. All right, so we're on page 2 of the tournaments. Like I said, for people just hopping on, if there was any duels you want to talk about, hey, we got Tim Spray on here. All right, Tim was messaging me on Instagram. We were having trouble getting him on here, but all right, glad we got him on. If you guys have any duels that you want me to run back and talk about real quick, once I get to the end of the tournaments, we'll take any questions or anything, and then I'll probably sign off for the night. I kind of talked about Royal already, but who brought up the Tom McGarvey? Someone messaged me on Instagram. We'll give them a shout out here. Tom Bruner 20 minutes ago. I am so sorry, you guys. I'm all right. So Tom, if you're still watching, we're about to get to the Tom McGarvey here. We'll check that out for you. You did ask top D1 juniors. I can run through that list for you. There's a lot of things I'm trying to keep track of right now. But Tom McGarvey, early bird scramble, always a first week favorite. I think I've said that about like 3 or 4 tournaments, but Beloit Memorial, Clinton, DC Everest, Horicon, Middleton's going to be there. Middleton, new head coach, Joe Miller, broadcasting extraordinaire turned head coach. Love to see it. Mineral Point, we talked about a little bit during their duel with River Valley earlier this week. New London, Ozaki, Pewaukee, Two Rivers, Verona, Watertown, Waukesha North, West Bend West, Westosha Central, Whitewater, and Winneconne. Winneconne, one of the biggest movers of the offseason in terms of switching sectionals. They're down in Sectional D now. There's a couple of teams from that sectional that are going to be there. So it'll be a good gauge for them. Joe Mixer, any wrestlers to watch at the Howard Manley duels? Let me, Joe, I'm liking the questions that you got, man. They're making me think. It's kind of getting me back into wrestling mode a little bit more. This first week of wrestling also couldn't come at a more perfect time too. Just because it's kind of daylight savings hits, sun goes down earlier, the mood kind of goes down, but it's been a great night so far. All right. Howard Manley duels. We got Baraboo, Catholic Memorial, Cedarburg, Delavan Darien, East Troy, Greenfield, Kenosha Indian Trail, Madison West, Milton, McGuanago, Union Grove, and Waterford. Joe, I might cheat a little bit on this one. Milton, McGuanago, if they end up dueling against each other. Oh yeah, I think we talked about this earlier on. But yeah, if they end up dueling each other, that's going to be a great duel. Milton, we already kind of talked about. They do have Sinclair. I don't know if they have the Nilos anymore. McGuanago, can I get a look at their roster? Yeah, I'll run through all the teams' rosters real quick for you, Joe, and just label off a few guys that maybe you should watch. But Cody Gable, really exciting wrestler, state finalist 2 years ago now, was it? Wrestled against Caden Henschel. It was one of the Gable brothers that wrestled Henschel in the finals. Dane Crimplebine, who's a senior. Zach Elizuski had a great off season. Junior this year. He's going to be a dude to watch at 160 for sure. Union Grove, Cooper Willis, think he ended up placing third last year at state. That's definitely someone to watch on their team. Milton, I brought up Sinclair already. There are no Nilos anymore. Kate Stormo, another good wrestler. Oh yeah, there's Royce Nilo. Yeah, Royce Nilo just had a really big growth spurt. That explains why I didn't find him right away. Let's go through a couple of these other teams here. Kenosha India Trail, Karina Torres. She's gonna be someone on the ladies' side to watch for sure. First year for the women's state tournament. And Karina, I know when the rankings were coming out, she's always in that mix near the top of the list. Let's see. Good to see Kenosha. They have a full roster. I just like to see that. There's no names that necessarily jump off the page for me right away, other than the last name Ramos. You just always assume that they're good wrestlers. But yeah, good to see that. Kenosha is probably bringing a full 14 for their lineup tomorrow. Greenfield, run through their list. Oh man, why am I blanking on the name of the Greenfield wrestler that graduated? Oh, East Troy. Here's a couple of names in here that maybe Jonah Edwards from East Troy. That's probably someone you could keep an eye on. Joe, are you going to the Howard Manley duels tomorrow? Also, I think next week the show is going to be a lot better just because I'm going to have a lot better idea of like where a lot of these wrestlers are at. There's just a lot of names that come in that don't jump off the page right away. And, you know, that's no disrespect to everyone, to anyone. I think that's just kind of the nature of having a lot of teams to follow. Cedarburg just looks like they're bringing one guy. Catholic Memorial, Ethan Flanagan started off the season 0-2, but I think he's one of their solid guys. Nate Alexander looks like he started off 2-0. And then Baraboo, Alexis Winnicky, we kind of already talked about it, but Winnicky, someone on the girls' side, gonna be a fun name to keep an eye on, fun person to watch. She's a senior this year. I think she was ranked first at 106 or 113 when the girls' rankings were out a couple of years ago. Talon Pickler, Joe, you kind of already brought him out there, so this is a dude I'm probably gonna watch now. Just kind of keep an eye on Connor Gorski. I know we've talked about him in the podcast a little bit. Luke stats. I know it's kind of different based on where people are from. Did I miss any names while going through here? But yeah, I'm sure I missed some, but yeah, that's just a few wrestlers maybe to keep track of if any of you are going to be at the Howard Manley duels. I'm going to check out. I think for the most part, we've gone through every tournament. I'll check out this Todd Jewell Memorial Tournament here. Any questions or anything on duels tournaments tomorrow? Top guys. Let's see. Tom Bruner, if you're still watching. Top D1 juniors. I can run through top D1 juniors real quick. Oh, Todd Jewell Memorial Tournament. That's okay, never mind. That's a youth tournament. No, that's just get into a whole different stratosphere here. All right, someone did ask on Instagram top D1 juniors, so I'm gonna do my due diligence. Any question anyone asks, I will gladly go through it. I mean, that's what we're here for. Also, I'm personally having a lot of fun, guys. Whether you're enjoying this or not, I'm loving this. I'm loving all the questions we're getting, the conversation that we're getting. You know, hopefully we can make this more of a thing too. And I think it's gonna get less sloppy as we go along. But right away, Ben Bast of West Bend West, state champion at 106 last year. Wyatt Skeba, that's just a dude. I'm never gonna forget his story. Didn't qualify out of regionals with the format last year. Someone got hurt. Skeba ended up being a state runner-up at 106. I love that for that dude. Though we need a lot of those stories in wrestling. Those never get old. Oscar Wilkowski of Watertown. That's a guy. The Wilkowski name. It just seems like they've been around now for like 7 or 8 years. I think Oscar's going to carry the namesake pretty well going into this year. Grayson Clark could maybe, and I know I have a lot more weight classes to run through. Grayson Clark might be the best pound for pound D1 junior. 2-time state champ already. The guy is just smooth. He's a smooth wrestler. Grayson Clark's probably a guy that, like, if you want to get people interested in wrestling, Clark is one of those guys that, like, maybe you show film of. Clark and also sophomore Brett Back, who I talked about earlier. Corbin Ramos from Kenosha Bradford. Also, let me know if I'm pronouncing names wrong. I absolutely hate when I do that. And I just think it's respectful to get names right. Zach Elizuski and Jacob Ward, both place winners. They wrestled each other last year at state, but they're very, very good juniors as well. I love watching Ward. He's had a very good 2 years so far. Elizuski, I think we're going to see him. He's going to be a top 3 finisher this year. I want to put my stamp down on that, but he placed 5th last year in that tough 145 bracket. You know what? I would even say, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he was a state finalist or state champ, depending on where weight classes fall. Just running down the list a little more. Noah Mulvaney of Arrowhead placed 3rd at 170 last year. He was a runner-up as a fresh. Yeah, Mulvaney beat Luke Meckler from Stone as a freshman, 3rd last year. This very well could be the year that he gets that state title that he's gotten so close to. We'll probably have to go through a Mirasola brother. We just don't know which one yet. Michael Alexander of De Pere, 3rd at 182 as a freshman. That's impressive. Got to give props to that as well. And yeah, that's kind of my top D1 juniors. I know it was a lot of it just guys who placed at state last year, but I guess that makes you, yeah. But yeah, went through duels for the week, went through some tournaments tomorrow, just kind of teams that are going to be at different tournaments, wrestlers that are going to be at different tournaments. Guys and girls who tuned in, thank you for coming on. Thank you for the conversation. Hopefully we can turn this into more of a thing. We can get the comment section rolling more. And I appreciate like how diplomatic the comment section was too. Like there wasn't any like arguing or anything like that. I'm just always down for talking wrestling, but Tomorrow, I think Steve and I might be going live for the Gunslinger Finals invite. So, all right, Steve Hensler, good luck to the youth at the Yellow Jacket Nationals tomorrow. Yellow Jacket Nationals. I like that name. I'm down for that. Yeah, good luck to the youth. Thanks everyone for commenting. I'll be back next week, 7:30, same time. I'll try to get a little more marketing out there, but yeah, hope you enjoyed this and you guys have a good night. Oh, wait, I should probably figure out how to like end this thing first. Okay, what the? They're just not like an end. I'll go to my Zoom. See. Wow, horrible sign off. All right, well,